Hey, welcome back, folks. This is Cetriya, Cetrya, and I make illustrations and comics. Sometimes I do some tips and tricks. Other times I just show you the behind the scenes of what I am working on. So for today's live stream, and it is official, I'm moving the live streams to Mondays. For some reason, Mondays work better for me. But in this stream, I'm just going to work on some preliminary planning for a comic series that I'm using for a proposal. If I win the proposal, then I'll have to switch to working onto that. But if I don't win that proposal, well, still be it. I do not have to, I won't be working on it just yet. Give me a sec. Let me hook up a better mic. There, hopefully that made a much better difference to the sound quality. Anyways, like I was saying, if you're interested in the stuff that I had mentioned, then feel free to subscribe, and by all means leave a comment below telling me any kind of video requests or suggestions you'd like to make. So I have a couple of topics to talk over. Let me go ahead and just set everything up and make sure everything is a go here. I have to say that Photoshop is definitely giving some glitches, and after looking it up, I found out that it is not just me. So, let's see here. Hopefully you guys are having a not too shabby Monday evening. So let me get into here and get working. See? Alright. Perfect. I just have to set up this chat screen right here and we'll get to a going. Alrighty. First, let's go ahead and start with the general announcement, and that is for the art book giveaway that I had created maybe at the start of January, I believe, for the new year. And by now, anyone who is going to go ahead and comment on the video already commented. And I use a random numbers generator. And it ended up picking number 3 and number 5, I believe. Either way, I wrote down the people's names. So the two winners of, and I decided to pick 2, but the 2 winners for the book giveaway is, I believe, is PandimensionalSpaceZombie and Naja Latham. So you two guys will be getting your book. Just either send me a message or comment below where you want me to ask for your address and whatnot. But you could actually send me a direct message on YouTube. So go ahead and do that. Let me know your address and I will ship it out, the books, to you. After that, that means 2 books were claimed. The rest of the books that I have, if anyone wants those books, they will be there. I'm just going to go ahead and you guys can request for them and you just need to pay shipping. I don't need to keep them. I don't need to make money off of them. So let's go ahead in here and start on something. Hopefully this doesn't skip out on me because like I said, it's been pretty funky. It's all sorts of weirdness. All right. So the comic that I'm working on, if you haven't seen it already, I had created that color illustration of kind of like a preliminary version of that illustration, and I will just go ahead and show it up to you guys pretty quick right here. Let me get this coming up. Let's see here. If I recall where it is. Oh, I know where it would be. Sure. Yeah. Bring it right up. This guy. So that's not how the character is going to officially look. That's definitely not the style of it, but pretty close enough that I decided, yeah, I like it, so we're going to keep it to that. So right now I'm just going to work on general character design sketches, and because this is due at the end of March and it needs about 10 pages into it also, so we need to get working on that, don't we? And in the midst of the time, the topics that I'll be covering for this stream will be things about time management. I know, ironic. Things about time management, a little bit of a storytelling of what's going on at work. And then I'll talk about some updates. Actually, that'll be the first thing I talk about for updates. And then later on, I'll probably talk about what is kind of like my reflection on YouTube and whatnot. So the first thing that I would go ahead and talk about is, so like I'm saying right now, I'm just basically just doing some character sketches for them. So that means like things like, I'm not going to worry so much about anatomy because I just need to roughly get the character sketch down here. This stream will be roughly maybe 2 hours long, I would say, about. So I started at 7, I'll end at 9. I've been trying to wake up roughly at 5 o'clock, no later than 6 at least. So we'll see how it goes. And of course, yet again, it's another sci-fi. I to be honest, a little bit of a side thing, but like sci-fi seriously lacking. I know it's always been like a genre that people don't know what to do with it, and it's just so much easier to do with fantasy. I don't know why people think that with sci-fi everything has to be like hard sci-fi. It does not have to be hard sci-fi. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessary, but they think it is. But you know, I'm not gonna bug about it. And there is a different feel for a sci-fi that someone will like. There's a different reason why someone would pick a sci-fi over a fantasy, but they almost always, whenever they do decide to do sci-fi, they basically treat it like fantasy to the T, like everything about it. And then they don't realize that it's not just like the dressings of it that makes me want to watch it, but it's usually the themes that are expressed that makes me want to watch a different, like a sci-fi over most fantasies, basically. Like, usually people who watch fantasy, they actually care about, how should I say, they actually care about the magic system. Like, I hear it all the time. They talk about how they care about the magic system, and quite frankly, I don't care about magic systems, so that's part of the reason why I don't, it's never something that I particularly care for. But that was just a side comment. Sorry for going off on a bit of a tangent right there. Now, there's got to be a way to deal with the opacity here. Okay, alright. But anyways, anyhow, going back to the main topic. Hopefully the music isn't too loud for you guys, but going back to the main topic, and that is some general updates on what's been going on with me. I've been looking up more information for the podcast that I hope to launch probably in the fall is when I'm going to launch that, because I want to have some episodes and then get a feel for what's needed for my just get a feel for how I want the show to proceed. But how should I say, I have to look up how to actually do that properly. Other things is I'm reminded why I don't use Manga Studio all that much. for sketching anymore. But let's see here. Is this working? Yeah. Okay. That works. That works. Yeah, but so that's something that I'm going to take my time in working for, because there's like all these kind of rules for how you set things out for RSS and intros and outros, and like having like a schedule, like how like a lineup of how you're going to present the stories or the talk show and all that good stuff. So that was just something that I figured I need to really take my time to work on. Other updates is if you have not signed up to my mailing list yet, I do mention what conventions I'll be going to. So I'm going to Tampa Comic Con, and I'll also be going to Denver Comic Con. I am waitlisted for Otakon. Who knows if I'll get off that. If I do, that'd be nice. Hopefully I have like a 3 weeks notice that I'll be off, because the last thing I need is for them to be like 2 days before, by the way, hey, we got a free table. But I think with Artist Alley being so competitive lately, I don't think I don't think I need to worry about even getting off the wait list. So there's that. What other things to be thinking of? I have... Okay, so the Cross Star comic, I just need to type in quite a number of, how should I say, quite a number of the dialogue, and it should be pretty okay by then, so that should not be too much of an issue. And hopefully I'll get that, no, actually not hopefully, I know for a fact that I'll have it updated by tomorrow. Because that's all I'm going to do tomorrow is just add the dialogue. So during my lunch break, I'll type it in. And then then when I come back home, I just plop it right back in, right? I think that's pretty much it for... I believe that's pretty much it for announcements. I have a couple of little projects that's working in the background for myself. But so far, so good. So... next up on the list, this one I think I'll go ahead and work onto this one, because I don't want to be, let's just go straight into the time management thing, because as you know, I just told you a couple of updates and things like that, and I mentioned how sleepy I can get in almost all my videos. You see me in my robes also trying to get the videos done and things like that. So yeah, I would say that here's my tips for time management. So the first thing that I would definitely say is to really get to know your body, because as much as people want to be like, oh, you got to do the Pomodoro technique, oh, you got to do the, I don't know, whatever technique, you got to turn off, like, I don't know, there's some kind of apps that turns off your internet, and for me, that makes no sense, because I just don't understand, I don't understand those mind games that people do, but that's because that's me. If that's what helps you, then that's what helps you, but telling me that kind of a technique won't work on me, and I never really follow this. So this is for all the people who are born procrastinators and who knows that gamifying the system will not do anything for them. Here's the only thing the biggest thing is knowing your body, and also once you know your body, really, really have a heart-to-heart, a soul-to-soul to yourself, and just think about yourself and say, well, how am I going to feel about this next year or the year after or, the year prior or all of that stuff, right? Then once you realize that if you don't do something now, that you're going to regret it later, really think about just how much pain and suffering and annoyances and maybe anger that's going to cause you. And once you realize that the pain of just doing the work now versus doing it later is a lot more, you'll end up accepting the fact that, hey, I should probably, just probably actually, do the work. And then I also tend to tell myself to accept the fact that I am going to do this work. It's going to happen. I'm doing it right now. And then once you accept the fact that you're going to go through a short-term pain, which is the annoyance of doing something now versus later, and you just do it, it's just a lot less, at least for me, a lot less mind games to be played. I just don't do the mind games. All right, I don't do them. They don't make sense to me. Cause this came about for a while now, but this came about probably last few days ago, where I really was feeling that I have so much awesome things that I would like to do, but I can't get them all done. Can't get them all done because I keep procrastinating. That's kind of cool. So let's make sure we do this. Yeah, so that I keep procrastinating. So there we go. Made some quick croquis. So So lately what I've been doing was trying to see if I can get myself to wake up earlier in the morning and hopefully have the time back to myself, because I spend all that time at, like, all my prime time at work, and lately work has really been getting on the news, you know what I mean? Just kind of, I'm kind of feeling like I don't want to be there for a bit, just like, just now. The main reason is just little annoyances that come to me. It can't be helped, really. It just can't be helped. And also other things where I see, like, the people higher up from me, and they just above my level, or one or two levels. They're not at the tippy top, but they're pretty there. And seeing the suffering that they're going through, and I'm just thinking, well, at the end of it all, like, this is where I would end up, this is the position I would end up in. And if I can see already that I have no interest of being there, double this out, then effectively I have no future. So it has been quite a bit of things. Hey girl, thanks for stopping by. I'm just rambling and filling in the time. Feel free to ask me anything while you're here. But as I was saying, I don't see myself continuing in the position, or even in necessarily the area of the industry for the time being, because it is not fun at all. Yes, I do draw while I'm at work. So for a lot of people, they might be feeling, oh, well, you create art and it sounds cool, but it's like I'm still creating art for someone else. I'm creating their designs, most of which I frankly would never purchase. I don't think is interesting. I don't think it's cute at all. And then they wonder why certain designs sell, why others don't. And it's just not fun. It's not. So, but then you have some other things. So now that I'm about almost half an hour into the stream, so anybody who's not dedicated would have already left by now. I'm just talking about, well, at the start I talked about a little bit of updates. So I announced my contest winners, which were 2 for the book giveaway. And then the second thing is a little bit of announcements, like what conventions I'm going to, my plans for the podcast that I hope to start on, and then just some general updates about art and things. And now I'm just talking about a little bit of time management and how like mind games don't work on me. So things like shutting off your internet or using the Pomodoro technique or something like that just don't work. I basically just sit there and say to myself, is my future self will be in more pain or more annoyance than my current self if I just do this instead of procrastinating. And I do find that as the years go by, you really wish that you could tell your past self, hey, get up and stop being lazy. So that's pretty much what I'm chatting about. And now I'm going into like a story about at work. So I'm an in-house artist, but we do represent a couple of artists. And like I said, by now in the stream, anyone who's not dedicated would not get to this part. But I'm not mentioning any names, and for the most part, I don't think I've mentioned what place that I work at. But so this is actually not a story of corporate. Well, it is kind of corporate too, because they, they're indulging whoever their favorites are at the moment. But basically, there's this favorite person who decided that they wanted to do something that requires handwritten notes for 900 units. Handwritten by one person, like one written note by one person. I don't know why they thought that was a cute idea, but so this person wanted to hand sign 900 notes. They're like, okay, I'll come in on this day, or I could come in on this day. You let me know. Then on the last minute, and when I mean the last minute, I mean in the last hour, like around 4 p.m. So everybody leaves at 5, right? 4 p.m. They're like, I can't come in the next day. I'm going to have to come in this evening. And I'm just like, so you have zero care about people needing to go home and to their families, or they might have appointments, or, they just need to eat dinner, stuff like that. That is, and quite frankly, it's going to take hours upon hours, even days, just to hand sign 900 plus things. It doesn't work that way. And fortunately for me, I don't have to stay. But again, the position ahead of me, 2 positions ahead of me, and there's other instances where, and it's been in many companies where I'm just seeing this, where it's like, well, if I stay here long enough, they're basically the position that I'd end up in, and I have no interest of going there. So even though it's a lot of work for me to wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, I will do it because I want to get ahead. I have stuff to do and I need to do them now, not later. They may not be a later, I have to get these things in so that way my future self can enjoy the fruitage of my labors. So whatever techniques, time management work for you, it's whichever. But personally for me, I mentally cannot, I don't do those games. I just sit there and be like, either you do this now or you regret it later, and just realistically accept the fact and then just binge working as much as possible. Now, typically I don't do such a clean sketch, but I kind of did a sketch at lunch, so that's I'm just making it digital right now. And this is for the comic pitch. And this is kind of like his everyday wear, and it might change. It may or may not change. I may not change it because it's a one shot. And quite frankly, as cool as costumes can be, I don't think it's the make or break of a story for most people. So we're just going to accept this. Besides, I tried my darnest to find as much kind of reference for like anime sci-fi, and it just does not exist. Does not exist, y'all. All right. Let's get that in. I don't know what is up with Photoshop and Microsoft? I don't know. They just have not been working correctly. I don't know what's up with those two companies. They just sit there and take your money, but then they keep fixing things that they think is broken only to break something else. Well, anyways, I won't complain about that. So, that was my little spiel about time management. Alright, so here's the actual main topic. Main topic. And that is, I mean, I don't mean to, I've been on YouTube for a year, so this is the main topic. And I've done as best as I can for the first year, and I do enjoy making it. However, this is the whole future self-talking. I just want to make sure I'm doing the best that I can. And it's not just YouTube, but it's also Instagram. When I hear people are getting like thousands upon thousands of people following them in less than a year, and mind you, it's not like, you know, accounts where it's like lifestyle accounts, but it's basically girls showing off their bodies and stuff like that. That's not, I'm smart enough not to do that kind of comparison. Yep, definitely. I can't sit 20 minutes. I can't do the whole work once every few minutes or some junk. I have to actually sit there for some hours. Let's see. By the way, finding copyright-free music streams are, man, that takes a bit. That definitely takes a bit of work. But anyways, like I was saying, I've been doing this for about a year now, and most of like the feedback that I get is kind of a weird general sense. There are things that I am still working on, and trust me, I pretty much know all the who's who on helping your YouTube grow, but most of them do not really understand what it means to grow an art channel. They are pretty generalist. They almost always deal with like products and reviews and stuff like that. Like, it's, let's just be real, that's what it is. Or you have to have like a shtick. And I don't follow that. I mean, I follow, for all there is to be, I like sci-fi, and we already know that as a genre almost rarely have anybody following it without it having some other thing to deal with it, like Westworld being a Western with a lot of nudity, or you know, or what they did to Star Trek, which stopped being Star Trek because they just had to, I don't know, they couldn't help themselves but blow a bunch of things up. And then the newest Star Trek TV show, let's not even get into that. They had to make it dark and gritty and weirdly shoehorning things that makes no sense. So I'm already at a, not disadvantage, but I already know that it's going to be a very slow and steady race for me. I don't expect to have hundreds of thousands of people randomly following me, so. Oh, hey, Savvy, how are you doing? It's been a bit. Yeah, I've noticed some of your vlogging, your vlogs. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, videos. I'm just gonna say videos. Nah, take your time. Like, don't even rush it, cause honestly, you do not have any control on who end up liking your stuff or not. People like what they like, and let's just be frank, some of the stuff that people like, you just kind of like, okay, that's not what I would expect, but I'm not surprised anymore. So just do what you like. But as I was saying, so I recently had a comment over my, not a comment, they didn't post it, but like a very quick review. And there was two things that was mentioned that was like, I kind of knew, but then it's like I accept the fact that I'm not going to do it. And one of them is doing a bunch of like what it essentially amounts to fan art. Now, if you've followed me for a long, long time, like off and on, you might have seen me at conventions or whatever. I just don't do that much fan art. And whenever I do fan art, it's series that most people don't follow or don't particularly care for. Like, it's not hot enough for people to be like, oh, okay. Like, now I'm probably following a couple of series that are like, because I like One Punch Man or whatever and stuff like that. But it's never, I'm not. What's the newest kind of sort of sci-fi? Okay, this might sound blasphemous, but I'm actually not a fan of Studio Trigger. Love their artwork, could care less for any of their shows. Yes, even I'm including Gurren Lagann into that. I could not get maybe 10 minutes into that. Same thing with the Kill la Kill. I had to force myself so hard just to watch 3 episodes, and then I think at the end of halfway through episode 4, I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I just can't. I just can't. So already it's like I don't like what most people like. I accept that. Like almost any show that I ever like end up getting canceled. You know what I mean? Like it's like, all right, so I don't care for that. I mean, and quite frankly, if I'm going to spend my time, if it's for just for money, if I was only doing this for money, and there's nothing wrong with getting art for money, like I'm like pay me 100%. But if it's for money, I actually have quite a bit of an analytical mind. I have no qualms with math. I am totally fine. Like right now is tax season. I could probably make quite a bit of coin in the next 3 to 4 months doing basic W-2s, because for some reason people think that them having W-2s, they still need to go to H&R Block for some reason. And it's like, they're just going to use the same program that you can use for free, right? Like, but it's fine. Yeah, like again, it's if I don't like the series, like for example, I don't like Star Wars. I don't hate it. I just kind of like meh. It's there, it's existing, it's for people who like it. I happen to not like it. So why would I do but if I did like it and I did fan art of that, I'd probably get quite a number of people coming to my channel. Thing is, those people would not even I highly doubt any of them would actually purchase anything of mine. Like I don't that's the other thing too. Like it's like if they're not your customer, like I don't know how to explain this. Yes, there's some of them will convert, some of them actually do like your style, but if I genuinely don't like the series, that means any of my original work is not going to show up like this. Like it won't match, so it doesn't make a difference. And I don't even know anything about Star Wars for me to even know what to make a fan art of. Like I wouldn't even know. So, or like this series that I'm doing a concept art for right now is Mecha series, or like fighting in mechanical robots and stuff like that. And the most recent Mecha series, because if you haven't noticed in anime, because it was suggested to do like anime fan art or whatever, all of them are light novels, and almost all of them are like, I'm in a video game world and it's all magical stuff and it's like borderline hentai, and I don't I don't follow it. The only mecha that came out was again from Studio Trigger. And I'm not insulted, but I'm just kind of like, why are you spending money making this? But apparently people like it. It looks the same to me, like every other thing, with very just as questionable, like even like it's well. Anyways, I'm not gonna talk about my thorough not so liking show of their stuff. Yeah, so if they're not supporting your stuff, then who's to say they're gonna actually purchase anything once I don't know, put up a Patreon, which I won't be doing anytime soon anyways. But like, or a Gumroad, or I don't know, my Redbubble shop or anything like that, which randomly lately I've been having just a few like once in a blue moon sales on there. But things like that. So I've come to the, and then here's the thing about the fallacy when people say this, okay? When you look at a number of illustrators that are well known, and I really don't like it when they use like Jazza, Draw with Jazza or Bailey J for an example, because the biggest reason why they're that big is, quite frankly, they've been online actively for a long time. And I feel when people mention that, it's like you kind of discount the amount of years that it took them to actually get to that position, right? And there was not as much competition back then, and add to the fact that they were super active on other channels, not other channels, but like other social media platforms, and then moved their audience. Like they've probably been at it for like a good decade. So you can't compare, like all of a sudden to follow their best practices, because there's not a best practice. And here's the kicker. When people use them as an example. Both of them, I like some Gundam, not all. I have to look it up. And the BB-8 thing, honestly, I think people just like the kawaii-ness of him. But I do like some Gundams, not all Gundams. Definitely not the shoujo-like Gundams. Nothing against them, but it was kind of, no. I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, okay. So here's the kicker when they use those two artists as an example. Notice both of them, roughly about the same time, both of them mention, guess what? Burnout. They had a burnout video, and if maybe one or two, and a depression video, and all that stuff that it entails. And if you listen to their videos, because I do follow their stuff from time to time, because I want to know what am I getting myself into when I'm doing much of anything. So I follow a number of like artists and business blogs and stuff like that, just to kind of try to do my best to mentally prepare. And both of them feel that making the videos, especially certain types of videos, put them in such a pressure, especially when they get backlash for doing a video that's actually of something that they feel like doing at that time. And I don't want to get into that position. Like, I've never suffered, as of yet, burnout or even art block. I haven't had an art block since middle school. And that's because I'm continuously enjoying doing what I am doing. I have a lot of it to do, and I feel like doing that. Trust me, if there was 3 or 4 of me, I still wouldn't have time to do all of it. So the last thing I need to do is to go through that of suffering burnout. And some people will be like, well, if you want to, gain your numbers and stuff like that. But then again, it's like, I'm pretty analytical. I can go and like fill out tax forms or get into real estate, like buy a couple of properties for rental and just rent out properties, because most people do not have money to buy a house. More and more people are single and don't want to deal with having a house. And rental properties are pretty hot. Selling houses, that's different. But rental properties, that's a pretty hot market. Like, so I don't see the need to just be like, oh, if you want money and stuff, and just like, I know how to make money. I just want to make money doing work that I like, because me, as a consumer, I want to see these kind of stories, and I don't see them. And yeah, I could be like many people who go after publishers or whatever, be like, why don't you have this kind of story and that kind of story, and I want this kind of story, and not giving me this. I'll be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go make it. And if more and more people are like me, and I'm very hard, like, I don't consume social media all that much, so of course I expect other people like me, it's going to take time for them to find the rest of us or something like that. It's just going to take time. But anyways, I am still going to keep to like the 3 to 4 updates a week, because I got plenty of ideas, and the more ideas I have, the more ideas I come up with. There's so much. Like, I plan to do a 30 days in color. 30 days in color. I don't know. I'm going to think about the title a bit more. But a 30 days in color, where I just do mostly colored work, because most of my stuff that I've shown is black and white work. And I've known for some ages, people are always saying how much they like my color work. And I know for ages that people are saying that color is what, captures people's eye, and I'm just kind of like, I like black and white. Yeah, like I said, there is no reason for me to be impatient and be in a rush and then end up in a business that I don't particularly care for. So let's see if I can get this correct. All right. I think for the most part, I have his clothes down pack. I'm going to keep this pretty simple though, because I have to draw this over and over again. This is actually will be a color comic. A comic, by the way, did I mention I don't know how to draw mechas? So yeah, there's still quite a bit of things that I'm gonna be doing. And after getting a couple of comments, I know I accept my fate. I know it's gonna take a longer grind than maybe some people who do a flash in the pan, and then the next thing you know, they change the algorithms on them, and then they're wondering what's happening. So I'll see it as all as a positive, and yeah, see it all as a positive and continue with that. So that's my thing with YouTube. Um, there's just so much with YouTube, and I do feel that to an extent, too many people are selling like consulting packages. Like I don't understand this obsession with consulting packages. Like I don't need a full hour from you, and I know you've heard that a lot. I have one specific question from you, and it's almost always formed as a yes or no question. So why do I have to sit and pay $300, $400, $500, $600 for your consulting package? And this is not directed to anyone particular. I'm just saying in general, if you look up a lot of the online business spaces. But like I like you know like oh I mean, the thing is, like, I don't got time to sit there and color. And quite frankly, and even from someone like my brother who doesn't read comics, and this is him, and I quote, I find color to be distracting. And I rarely, if ever, like the colors in any comic. Like, I genuinely, it's not me being lazy. I know how to color. It's just, to me, I'm just kind of like, I don't like it. And even in illustration, I always gravitate towards like limited color palette. I have like I have two posters where most of it is white. It's like white and grayscale, and maybe a little color at the cheeks or the lips. Like, I just genuinely like subtle color, because reading hundreds and hundreds of pages that's in full color is just like, it hurts my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain that. It just hurts my eyes, and almost nobody, okay, this might sound cruel, but most comics are not colored in a theatrical style. Like, they're not coloring like a filmographer would, or a videographer would properly colorize something, so that the color also tells you about the mood. You know, I just really feel like they picked the flat color because, oh, so and so is, you know, blue hair color, so we're just gonna pick the same blue, drop a drop shadow on it, and then call it done. And I'm just like, you know, ugh. Hello there, Vaulty Art. Thanks for passing by. So I like manga because it's black and white. I like there's an 80s artist that I like. Let me look. I know who he is. This poor man died at like 35 after going to like an aerobics class, but I'm just warning you guys, it's very 80s, like very, very 80s. But let me show you. Like, I love this man's style because it's simplified. So I don't know. I don't know. I like black and white. I like black and white work. I think I'm a closet minimalist. I know. I love his stuff. I'm so sad that he died. There's another one that I like. And you can never find his work. Let me find his stuff. I forgot when he died too. Let me see if I can find his stuff. Let me. Thing about finding these illustrators, sometimes you gotta be careful what you show on the internet. So I'm just gonna select a couple of his artwork. Let's see if I can get his stuff right here. Let me just show it real quick. But this guy, his name is George Stavrinos. You cannot find a book of his at all. It doesn't exist. He died pretty young, unfortunately, but this is the work I'm attracted to. So of course I'm biased towards black and white. I can't help it. Like, these are the illustrators, and then of course you have like Gibson artwork. I like Muka's sketchworks. Where is it stuff? I mean, this is beautiful to me. So I naturally gravitate towards black and white, even though I'm not colorblind. I can't help it. I know, unfortunately, like, I think a lot of those are just like, there's a lot of people who are inspired by him. So I know for a fact that a lot of the times they do like fake vectorized version of his stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Like, look up, that's just the art that I follow. That's it. I accept my fate. And hopefully I find like-minded people, slow but steady, who like that kind of stuff, and they'll kind of see it in my work. That's just that. Let me look up Sin City, because I might end up getting confused with another show. Let me see. Okay, so it was at okay, Frank Miller stuff. I dig it. And that's the other thing. I like it already. Yeah, I like the Sin City artworks. I actually follow a lot of comic book artists before, and they post their artwork before it's colored in the comic book form. For example, what's his name? He's up and coming. He's not up and coming anymore, but he used to do manga, and now he does a lot of. He did a mentorship, and my mind is whatever. Anyways, he makes awesome artwork. Like, I like a lot of the comic book people, because that's where I try to get a lot of my techniques. Like, I get my techniques from everywhere, and I love seeing them post their comic pages before it's colored, and then I'm like, I would buy that comic if it was in black and white. I'm sorry, but the colors in comics are just so gaudy. The thing is, I like mixing color, but I like it for like abstract, because now the color is the point of the like, that's the point of the canvas. But I don't do like, because if I'm gonna do the color comic, which I am gonna do with here, it's going to be a limited color palette. It's gonna be a limited color palette. The only person that I have to say though, I do like the French comics. I can't give a name, but I do like the coloring of the French comics because I feel like they're more theatrical. Like they really are thinking about the color representing the story versus I'm gonna throw down color and I'm gonna throw down some Photoshop filters. So the French comics are gorgeous. But yeah, I just accept that. But anyways, what else what I was mentioning? For the whole YouTube thing, besides the color, whatchamacallit, 30 days of color, I was probably thinking that maybe I might do, I do have some fan art that I want to do because One Punch Man is awesome. But other than that, I do have a how to draw comics series that eventually I will get because since I'm doing this proposal, I might as well show you guys kind of a step-by-step how I start working on that. Oh, that's neat. I'm having skipping problems. I mean, ever since Windows 10, like, here, I'm going to try to do it slow, and I'm actually pressing, it's not picking up. It is what it is. Alright, now it's working. Again. For now. Temporarily. But yeah. Yeah, too many of the colors are way too shiny. Way too shiny. Like, and it's so funny because again, I am from like, I am anyways, from the whole anime world. And you'd think that, oh, of course, shiny, right? And a lot of the, like, no joke, a lot of the anime stuff are getting a bit too airbrushed anyways. But yeah, it distracts from the art. It's like they're trying to like make a name for the fact that they colored this book. And it's like, let's just be real. The inker got it and it looks good. And most of you guys don't color right. So let's just accept that. Let's just accept that, okay? Way too much arch in his back right here. It does take me that long to plan these things. And keep in mind, it's just a rough, so I think that works. Anyways, on a side note, what have you guys been watching lately? If you are watching anything good out there, like I said, the most recent crop of stuff isn't that great. I gave that Studio Trigger episode show, whatever, Darling Franks, whatever. I don't know where they come up with these names. And it was bad. It wasn't horrendous. There's a lot of people who are naming it the best new Studio Trigger stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but no. You mean guilty about your coloring? I mean, it's preference. Like, there's a reason why it's so predominant. It's because people like it. If people didn't like it, that'd be one thing. But then again, people like a lot of sugar, and that's not always good. So, a little bit of sugar, great. Too much sugar, questionable. You've been watching? Oh, savvy. I've been doing that too lately. Well, if it's not that, my stomach has definitely been kind of like, girl, what are you eating? I'm not happy with this right now. We're not going to be happy for like a good 3 hours until you learn your lesson. Been trying to wake up an hour or more earlier before work so I can get some stretching done, some ab work. I have 0 abs, so you can imagine after like 8, I'm just trembling. Yeah, I've pretty much been watching streams. I've been watching streams. I've been watching random business vlogs, and I have to say I have been watching like the old versions of Battleship Yamato, and it's just so funny when you watch these kind of old series, but new series do that too, where it's so obvious. It's like a underhanded, subtle way of doing a weird propaganda, but it's not. But what's more funny is seeing that you can tell the director was super ambitious, but the animation team had no idea how to do it. So you end up with some very interesting animation glitches that I don't think they thought it was an animation glitch, but it's been funny. It's been interesting to watch. But what I mean by watching, it doesn't have to be anime related though. Anything good, anything decent. Yeah, this is not going to be anatomically correct. We're just going to accept this right here. So, yeah, I don't know how the only way, like the only way you can burn out from doing something is if it's literally taking away from you on a constant basis. And if you're drawing stuff you don't want to be drawing, then of course you're going to feel like you're burnt out. I think the Magus Bride. Magus? Magus. It sounds like maggot. Magus Bride? Magus. I heard people really love that show. It's like it brings you back into the whole magical world thing. Especially with the artwork and stuff. So who knows? I might buy the art book, but I don't see myself watching it though. I was never a fan of like Europeans. The closest would probably be Howl's Moving Castle, but honestly, I think I only finished watching that movie was because I was watching it in French and everybody's voice was just gorgeous. So I was in love with the voices, and I was just like, I'm just gonna. This is very pleasant to the ear. Yeah, pretty much been watching a bunch of YouTube. I don't have a Netflix account, so anytime people try to tell me, oh, you should watch what's that show, Stranger Things and stuff, it's like, first off, I wasn't even born at that time. I was barely born in the 80s, barely, like I got in by the skin of my teeth kind of thing. So I probably would not understand most of the reference anyhow. And I'm not really into parody shows. The last parody show I've ever seen, yeah, I'm just not into parody shows all that much anymore. I feel like it's too easy to get into. Like, I feel like it's too easy. It's too easy because then I know what's going to happen, and then I'm not surprised anymore. Nothing is surprising to me, and then it's not pretty to look at, so it's like, no. I have high standards, okay? It needs to look pretty, and it needs to surprise me, okay? Okay. And when I mean surprise, I don't mean explosions. Because we got plenty of overly expensive stuff with explosions. Get this in there. Do I even relax to watch on YouTube anymore? I just basically listen to a lot of like synth pop and lo-fi music. And then check on whatchamacallit, Facebook forums. By the way, any of you guys, do you guys still do conventions? Do any of you do conventions anymore? Like, it's really hard to get into them now. And expensive. It's hard and expensive, unnecessarily so. Made his waist way too wide here. Oh. But, yeah. Pretty much. If I'm not drawing, I'm sleeping. If I'm not sleeping, I am cooking something or cleaning something or doing laundry. And if I'm not doing that, I more than likely am at work or helping somebody with something. So, okay, I'm going to stop with this here. This here. Because this is not accurate. The two, I have one local one, which is down in Tampa. But the second one that I'm doing is going to be up in Denver. Because I got family over there, so I wouldn't have to pay for hotel. The one that I would like to get into, I got waitlisted, which is Otakon. Anime Boston was just carnage. Like, I don't know how anyone, like, I don't know how that works anymore. Like, I haven't gotten into that convention for 4 years now. And then I just signed up for Anime New York, right? New York City. I don't know. Anime NYC. It's made by the people who do Crunchyroll. Okay, I think that's done for this guy. Oh, Savvy. Yeah, conventions are very taxing. That's part of the reason why I took a break from it. Also to reevaluate why I go to conventions to begin with. So take your break, because let me tell you, girl, it is unnecessary. It's like unnecessary stress. That's the best way I can describe it. I think it's just unnecessary stress now. Anytime I go to a convention, I'm unsure what they were trying to do with it. It's like, what are you trying to do? And then you hear all of this horrible junk that some of these convention planners be pulling on people. Like some horrible junk, you know? So, I think that's it for this character. Yeah. This is daily provided. All right. How did that thing look? Let me see. Move this to the side here. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. The thing about Comic Cons, though, I feel like first off, they attract an older audience, and getting into them is much more straightforward than anime conventions. Like to get into an anime convention is ridiculously annoying, and I feel like because comic conventions tend to have a lot of people self-publishing, that there's more people there who expect that there's going to be self-published stuff. Whereas at a manga convention, anime and manga convention, they're kind of like they're younger people, and it's just, I think that whole that whole artist alley area, they've pretty much given up doing any sort of like Where is this supposed to go to? It's supposed to go somewhere. I guess I don't have a folder for it. We're gonna make a new folder. Where are you? There you go. Save this. Photoshop. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, like I said, yeah, and agreed. Like they've just been so trained to specifically want fan art that I don't. They just. And even the funny thing is, I think at Anime Boston some years back, I did. I was part of a panel, a Genshiken panel, and someone had asked, "Why is there not American-made doujinshis, like fan comics?" And I just told them straight up, it takes a person maybe 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. Let's just say the person's not the best artist, but they're not bad. Like, you get what they're drawing. Maybe 6 to 8 hours. Even the best artists, I don't think it takes them more than 10 to 12 hours to do one print that they sell for $15, and it costs them maybe $1 to print that print. And they sell you for $15, they can make 15 prints. By the time it would take them to do 15 pages of one comic that they would have to be charged $2 to $3 to print, but then can only sell it for maybe $10 at the most. But they just now spent 150 hours making that thing and paid 2 to 3 times as much to print said thing. So of course there's no doujinshi, there's no American doujinshi. It's just, it don't make sense. Why would we do that? We would just make our own stuff. It doesn't make sense that way. No, by all means, if you can get into an anime con, go. I mean, just whatever. I still go to, like I said, if I can get into Anime NYC, but New York is just a touch bit particularly different. I feel like New York likes original stuff more. If you can get into it, go. Don't spend too much money on it, and don't feel bad if you don't get into it, but go. But I just feel like I tend to get a decent amount of people, or go to, like, for example, the reason why I would still do Otakon is if I can get into it, is that Otakon has so many webcomikers there that the people are already know in their mind that there's original artists here. So maybe I should come and check it out and actually have money specifically for original stuff. That's different. You know, like the Artist Alley straight up was trained. But Comic-Con has their issues too. Like, how many times do we need to see like a whole huge wall of like Wonder Woman, weird Wonder Woman stuff, you know? It's just, again, you're dealing with a market that tend to be older and tend to have a little bit more money. Like between 25 and 35, they're more than likely are settled in whatever job that they have. Okay, I'm about to do this really horrendous attempt at making a mecha. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how this goes. It's true. I mean, that's like with anything, though. You have to gain enough numbers for people to buy your stuff, so. You know, I really am actually past the, the banning of fan art, that doesn't bother me anymore. I honestly, I'm over it, because like you can't force a person to purchase something. It's the same thing with them getting upset about, oh, crafters can't come in and all that. Like, I am past that. That just lets me know that most of the buying people are people who like that stuff. That just tells me, because you can't force, like, you just can't force it, So if most of the buying public is that's what they want, then that's what they want. Okay, give me a second. I need to get me some other shapes. Okay. There you go. I need some of this stuff. I don't know. I just find it helps. Get this. Oh, the mirror is on. I don't want mirror. There you go. Set opacity. Oh, this is weird. Nope, don't like this one. Okay. That works. That works. Till I figure something else. Yeah. So that's been my thing. Right now I'm just messing around with like the Drakami because I just can't. No, I don't like this one. But yeah, that has been my experience with stuff. So, I could talk through what kind of comic I'm trying to work on for the proposal, or if you have an idea or prefer a video maybe for later on that I can work on about this, or something that you want me to keep in mind while I work on yeah, something to keep in mind when I start making that little series of how to make a comic or whatever. I think I like this idea. Yeah, okay. This works. This works. PNG. Save it, please. Projects and reaction. Save. Great. Let me add this in here. I am attempting to work on a mech. Keyword attempting to. Keyword attempting to. I don't normally make mechs, but the story requires me to draw a mech, so it's going to have to happen. I know you shouldn't do like something you're not good at on your proposal, but I figure, like I said, there's no point in me working on a comic or anything for that matter if I don't enjoy it or if I don't feel like I am learning from it. So we're gonna learn something. That's what this is. That's what this is. So the general gist of the story, I know most mech stories and stuff like that deals with one of two things. One, you have the random kid who've never driven the thing before, all of a sudden gets into a mech, and he's like a weird version of a chosen one. You have that character. Then you have the one where they're just this kind of like military genius or something, and I mean they're a genius, so they do what was expected of them. I don't know how to explain it. There you go. I think that's pretty good actually. I think this will do for myself for today. But that's usually what you know normally happens in like these mech shows. But for me, so the story deals with, I mean, you know this pretty early on, it actually deals with, I guess they're called missionaries, something like that. I don't know, something like that. And it's like an orphanage missionary. So I still have the cliche of the orphanage, but there's more to it. But anyways, it's a sponsored orphanage, and you do these kind of like jobs for them until you reach a certain age, and also until you reach a certain kind of like how should I say this? Like you make a certain amount of money, so they end up receiving, like they end up getting back the investment that you put in and then some. Thing is, our main character causes so much damage every single time he goes out and does his work, and he doesn't care, that in all honesty, he'll never leave the agency. Because once you get a certain age, you're no longer an orphan, but you're part of the agency and you owe them money. So, how do you flatten this thing? Okay, it works now. This is why I don't sketch in Manga Studio all the time, but Photoshop takes up way too much resources. But yeah, so our main character, he's alright at what he does. He's just kind of sort of a renegade, doesn't care, and I don't think he really sees the fact that he'll ever leave, and he was okay with it until something he did not expect happened. One of his friends, finally got enough money. Not only did he got enough money, actually, because by the time he was of age, he actually had a savings, because they're by law required to save. If you start making a surplus, they have to save the money. So he cashed out and doesn't want to keep working there, because it is dangerous. Like once you get to a certain age, they do put you at more dangerous jobs, or you end up picking the more dangerous jobs because they pay more. And that's when the main character starts to feel like what is he going to do with his life and stuff like that. But it's not as melancholy, because there's an extra element to this story. See, I guess, yeah, I guess so. But like, that is a humanoid, but is a humanoid mech that practical though? Because I mean, the human body is amazing, but is it really that practical? Because what if you need extra limbs? And what if you need a very specific kind of grappler and stuff like that? What if you need like a modular design that changes form and stuff like that? So, Besides, they're not supposed to fight with these things. Um, but missionaries do fight. Like some of the jobs will include fighting or stuff like that. So mines can be humanoid, but it depends on the person. Like each person has different a different mecha. They're not gonna have the same ones. So besides, I'm not good. I'm so new at this. It's not even funny. I'm actively gonna make this just be cool looking. Yeah. I honestly think the beam sword would be so much energy. It would consume so much unnecessary energy, and you'd be throwing away so much unnecessary energy. Um, some of Aldenor Zero's mechas made sense. And some of, was it Majestic Prince? They didn't all look humanoid per se, but I get the humanoid thing because if the mecha is an extension of your body, I guess for the sake of, no, forget what's practical. No joke. Because how far are we into the stream? Like, we're an hour and a half, so I can say this now. If you watch Darling in the Franxx, and I did not see episode 2 because episode 1 was dumb, but it looks, their mecha design looked like a weird version of five-star stories. But from what I've heard from people who like the show, and I've heard of the comments, they like this. They just think it's ridiculous. But to me, it does not make sense. I just think it's dumb. But on the second episode, you see, like, it requires a guy and a girl to pilot the ship. And the girl is, of course, hunching over. And the guy sits in the back. And she has handles on her behind / hip. And I'm assuming he grabs hold onto those handles. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, I'm not offended. I'm just thinking that one, he would basically be smacked to the side because those aren't anchored to anything. And two, in the process, he'd break her spine. So, oh yeah, sorry. But yes, but speaking of pairing, because this was way before Darling in the Franxx came out, the difference is my pairing is actually an actual neurological copy. Like they make they make kind of like a droid copy of yourself, and you need to keep in sync with them. And the main character is so full of himself that he just goes off, and especially they're supposed to do the more dangerous aspects of a job and things like that, and the main character just kind of goes off kilter, and half the time he's not syncing with his copy. So because of that, they start to diverge. Like his copy end up starting having its own personality, but it still has like a basic pre-programming, so it's a pretty docile personality, and things like that. And you have that aspect that comes up with it, and it gets a little bit, I just like where it's gonna end up, and I hope people who gets to read it likes it too. There, I'm gonna leave it like that because I don't want to spoil it anymore. But what I just said is like, you see that at like the very first few pages. Like it's not anything that would spoil anything for anybody. Okay, I can tell right now this is going to be an annoying thing to draw in the comics, so we're going to see it like maybe 4 or 5 times, and that's it. I see why people CG stuff. I'm like I said, I'm not offended. I'm just kind of like, I understand that they're known for, and if you watch some of them, like they're known for doing things that are just like, they just do it because they know they can get away with it. And I'm just like, really? You have all of this? But I mean, that might genuinely be what they like to draw. So I'm not gonna be like, okay, they don't want it. It's just the fact that people, people are buying it. That's where I'm just like, okay, like, like if that's what they want to draw, I can't stop them. But it's just kind of like, why did that even pass by? I understand it's ridiculous, but now it's just like anytime I see it, I'm like, I already have lower back pain from sitting down, for sitting down for too long, and I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, like I just can't help it but like cringe. And the funny thing is, I watched another mecha show that was actually quite heavy on the fan service, and it's called Cross Ange. There was plenty of fan service, but like I understood what was going on, and the mechanics of it was not so. That was actually a transforming mecha, so they didn't stay humanoid all the time, But like, I'm not offended, but I was just like, I'm sorry, but that just hurts. Like that just hurts. And then of course they went to the whole cliche thing, you got to kiss to make a pack thing, and I'm just like, all right, we're done. We're done. I can't. And then you have that weird looking, not big O looking, but like that weird kind of look. Look it up, and you'll see what the mecha looks like. And so far, it just runs on way too many like the samey cliches that I just don't care about. I don't care that the half breed is getting picked on. Man, Japan has some serious bully problems because like almost every one of their stories is a bully problem about somebody who's mixed. I don't care about the kiss contract. I don't like, there's just so much about it. Like, and then I'm thinking at the start of this episode, you have this girl who is the half breed, whatever, and her pilot is a very mature looking guy. He probably looks like he's 45, and he's all beat up and stuff. To show how tough she is. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, so you've been grabbing her hip handles of a girl that I know for a fact is not like, huh. And then there's other aspects where characters are randomly dying and it's kind of offensive, like how they died. Like, I'm just kind of like, really? He messes up, but it's the girl that ended up leaving. And then when she leaves, you can't let her leave peacefully after crying that she didn't want to leave, but she has to leave. And then while she's leaving, she's like, she gets killed. Like, trust me, you barely see this girl, so you don't have any empathy for her. But it's just kind of like, why are we just randomly killing off people for this? I don't know why people like Studio Trigger, and that's why I can't do fan art. I can't suspend disbelief for things like that. I can't, because, like I said, I continuously have a bit of a backache. So, because of that, it's like, I'm sorry, but that kind of hurts. And when you suspend so much disbelief where you're so much of it, now you're not sure where the stakes are. Like, I can't tell when something is of actual damage or not. Like, I don't know where the stakes are. So, I don't mind, like, again, like, I can do suspension of disbelief, but there's just some things where I'm like, what? That doesn't make what? Oh, Darling in the Franxx? I think they maybe be on episode 5. It's still coming. It's Darling. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, of course, it's rated 7.9. Of course. Let me see if I can find a female. Let's see if I can actually. I don't think we're gonna get this. Never mind. Like, you probably have to actually see the episode to see where. I don't think I'm gonna find it. Oh well. No matter. No matter. I'm gonna get back to doing my work. Because I can't even. I mean, it's weird. It's just it ended up being like, it's like I'm starting to question why they keep using these same kind of tropes and why they like them. But you know, when it comes to art, for lack of a better word, I do my best not to judge too much of it. You know what I mean? Like, I do my best not to judge. So we're not gonna judge. Like, I don't even want to post this on my stream, so never mind. Never mind. It's dumb. It is questionably dumb. So we're gonna get back to doing my work. Yeah. I mean, for animation quality, yes, but I just don't. I don't even. I mean, but no, it's when people, the way people talk about it, it's like, okay, I'm tired. I don't know. I get bored really easy by just seeing flashy stuff. Like, you need to give me a reason to be. This is the show, anyways. And they're starting. I understand it's their style, but like at the same time, this red triangle thing right here is too much them. And then the mechas have like weird. I don't care for it. Anyways, the girl has horns. She has little demon horns and stuff, and she walks around completely naked. Not walks around, but she did on the very first episode. You had the quintessential dead bird thingy allegory. I don't know why they do the dead bird. Like, it was just too much of the, oh, come on, guys. Like, do something else. I'm not asking you to be original, but I'm also kind of am asking you to not put all the same things at the same time. Like, it's too much of it. But I'm glad. I mean, you know, people like what they like. Anyhow. Alright, I can tell I already don't like this part, so we're not doing this part. This is hard. Let's cut out some of this stuff. I don't think Nope, 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 nope. So I think I am going to cut this out. I mean, it's to each his own. The thing is, my saltiness is coming from the fact that there is nothing for me to actually indulge in. So when I see the same thing coming out over and over again, it's like, okay, I understand, but nothing that I would like to indulge in ever comes out. So what is a person like me to do? But I digress. That is life. That is life. Huh. Nah. The thing is, like I said, and for my mind to be turned off, you have to distract me, which is why I'm watching. I think the one that is funny is the one that I was mentioning, which is the old Battleship Yamato thing, because it's just, I don't mean to laugh, but there's just some serious things where it's like, those poor animators, man, those poor animators, they had to go through so much. They had to go through so much for their craft. The thing is, I don't take, that's the problem though. They're not my guilty pleasure, because I don't have, like, I'm not, it's not pleasurable to me. I just kind of like, okay, and when was the last time that, did I watch anything that was just dumb, but I liked it? When was the last time I watched something that was just dumb, but I liked it? I can't remember. But, you know, for shows like this, though, there really is no point in making fan art for it. Because as soon as it stops airing, no one's going to watch it. Like, no one's going to buy that stuff. So no one's going to watch that stuff afterwards. I don't see any. Let's see. I stopped halfway through I think it was called Kanabari, which I think was like a prettier looking version of Attack on Titan. Um, and that series was alright. I don't know. I like my Yamato. I'm gonna stick to that because it's such a useless series. It's such a useless series. Well, YouTube, I still use it mostly for educational purposes. Or watching someone else's vlog or something. This was good. So, but it is what it is. The closest thing I've enjoyed is One Punch Man, which is no longer an anime, so Let's make this there. I'm just sitting here discovering where I want my pieces to go, yo. Mechas are hard, and I have to at least design, I think, 3 of them for this series. For this one shot. Samurai 7. Did I seen that? I don't think I have. I've heard of it. Was that live action? Because if it is, the closest that I've seen to live action is probably the old series called Shogun. That was, the thing about that series though, was based on, sort of based on a true story. So I was really sad for the main character. And the fact of how harsh Japan still is. There you go. I think I found something. I think I found what I want this to look like. I think I found what I want this to look like. So how does this thing land? That's a good question. Then I have not seen it then. I have not seen Samurai 7. That looks like a person's face. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. I am. Maybe. I may get this. I may get this. Nope. I'm not gonna get this right now. Maybe if it's like a spaceport, but I need him to have some kind of land gear. I don't do the whole just make a design that constantly floats thing, because I'm sure that takes up a lot of power. So I'm wondering, how does this thing land? It's like that weird balance where you want your stuff to look like it's from an anime, but then you're like, ah, realism. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch it up. Let's see here. I think that'll do. And then I think the legs will probably switch up like this or something, and then just hooks down. And then this part right here could probably move down. Kind of looks like. Just note to self. Yeah, okay. Note to self. Okay. Note to self with this mecha design. Alright. Let's see if I can get this to work correctly. This is not easy, you guys. It's not easy at all. Alright, I think I got it. That's too big of a person. There you go. There you go. I think I got something decent. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's for aerodynamics reasons why. Not that I'm a scientist. I'm not an engineer. I just draw. I just draw. I notice things, but that's about it. I'm not confessing to be any sort of thing like that. It's just to me, I find it easier for me to design something if I understand the reason behind it. It's the same reason where, like, so you saw me just did the character clothing design, and I don't just sit there and draw a clothes not knowing why the clothes look the way it is. Like, I think of both the culture and maybe the work conditions and all that stuff as to why a character's clothes look the way it does. I don't just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't just sit there and just put filigree over their body when it doesn't work that way. Like, yeah, there'll be times where you pick a clothes because it's cute, but then there's times where you pick a clothes because you need it to function. So, I think that works, right? Yeah. I think that works pretty good. I mean, a good portion of this is fake anyways. Like, if you think about it, too many of these things can easily be like broken off. So ah. Bikini military. Again, I'm not offended. It's just the fact that it's everywhere. There's another version of it too, where everyone looks like that chick off of Fate, the Fate series, Fate Stay Night, Fate Apocrypha something, Apocrypha, and now State the last whatever season. I don't know, but they all look like her, so it's full armor and a giant cape slash skirt thing, and they're kind of sort of blonde, like all of them, like all of them look like that. That's the anime version. Bikini armor, I'm not offended by it. If I am offended by it, it's as a designer I'm offended by it, because it's kind of like, okay, like you could have made a cool outfit, but you didn't want to, so. But then again, girls do that too sometimes. Some female designers, they always put them girls in mini skirts. It's like, I get it, it's cool. You know, Star Trek did it and Sailor Moon did it, and it's cool, but you're a designer. I'm not saying don't do it, but if you're going to do it, first off, 500 of you shouldn't all be doing the same thing. And second off, you can make it different. Like, just look at fashion. Do you think fashion would be as big as it is today if everybody copied everybody else on a regular basis? No. So stop. Plus, I'm also thinking about people who cosplay. Like, I don't cosplay, but if I was, like, the last thing I need is to have yet another outfit where you have to use body glue. Just saying. Even when I go out shopping, I actually do a run, jump. I do a run, jump, bend over, sit down, and reach, like a stretch test on almost every clothes that I have. And if it doesn't work that way, I'm like, not buying it. I don't have money to buy clothes that sits in my closet. Yeah, I mean, no. Like, when you're starting out, fine, but when you're a paid professional, stop. Like, you're a paid professional, okay? Like, at the same time, though, there's certain companies that's what they want. So, as a professional, I totally understand that you can't just be like, well, I ain't doing this because I'm pure about my art. I understand. See, I forgot I was supposed to put a second person in there, and yet there's so much space. Who'da thunk it? Look at that. There's extra space for another person. Yay. Okay. I think think I'm about ready to do... No, not yet. I got... That's what bothers me. That's what was bothering me. All right. Okay. I don't know. People just don't see it that way. And if you try to explain to them that, I just don't think it's interesting, they're like, don't be a prude, or the naked body is beautiful. Don't feel bashful. And I'm like, child, listen, I come from a culture where it's not against the law for the parents to bathe their own kids, okay? I've done life drawing. I know how beautiful the human body is. First off, the human body comes in very different shapes and sizes, so I've already got that down pat, considering you guys always do the same kind of bodies. Let's just be real. And second off, I know what the human body looks like. There's nothing interesting about that. I mean, it's interesting, but not really. Not for me anyways. I don't find it interesting. Not that much more so. I mean, it's just flesh. It's just blood and guts. Like, I cook that every day. It's all blood and guts. All right? All right. Honestly, the feet here is a little bit too small for what it should be, but it's whichever. There you go. Ugh. My poor fingers are gonna fall off. My poor fingers are gonna fall off. My poor fingers are gonna fall off. Actually, where's this supposed to show up? Right here. Okay. And I think this is where I want the... That would be burning up the thing, wouldn't it? Would it though? Would it though? Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Well, I say it doesn't. Someone else, a better engineer, could come and tell me. A better engineer could come and tell me. Take your time. All right. La da 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 da. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see. Ellipses are hard, yo. Super hard. I think this is too thick, though. I think that, yeah, that works. Let's see here. For those of you guys who are watching, feel free to leave a comment or ask a question. I'll answer them on. Just working on some mecha designs for a comic proposal that I am planning to do. So, gonna get this working in here for this stuff right here. My fingers are about to fall off. I'm gonna get this working in here. See if I could get this. No, I didn't. I wait for, you said you would be right back, so I waited for you before I answer the question. So, to answer the question of the copies that happens to, they become owner property of the people that they made copy of. They can't keep, I mean, who's to say that the companies, who's to say that the company ain't gonna just make a copy of you whenever they feel like it, but, you basically keep the copy. It's your property because that's part of your that's part of the balance that you owe. Since the copy is based on your own DNA anyways. It's a legal thing. Like it's like a legal protection thing. Like it only was passed that they could end up having these orphans and use them for work if they kept to a certain point. And that it would help them. And Part of the story is like they don't actually have to be an orphan, but say a family member cannot afford to take care of their kids or whatever, they can give up the custody to this company. So, and not all of them end up being like missionaries, and not all of them will end up with a copy. It depends on the assessment and the potential of the person that they end up getting. But once you pay off your debt and you decide to leave the place, because you could stay, because it is a place of employment, you can stay. But afterwards, like it's yours. They can't. I mean, they legally cannot use it, and plus they can't make a copy of a copy. They need like the original human element for stability reasons, because if they start making copies and like try to combine them with other people, there's a whole mess of reasons that in my world I set it up where it's not stable to do that. But that's what makes the story that's what makes the story gonna be kind of I'm not gonna spoil that section, but that part is like it's a small kind of like, it's just world building information. It's not something that would like spoil the show for anybody. So yeah, I mean they can if they want to get regular androids or whatever, but for this, I mean they can. It's not like you can't make a robot. It's just that particular thing is it's a sensitive topic. Who knows if they end up taking it, and if enough people are into it, I can get into a further part of the story. But if I do go further in the story, I'm thinking of making it into just a novel, because I can do a mech story like one-offs, but I don't see myself like drawing it on a regular. And unless I won the lotto, I won't be able to afford someone drawing for me. So so but it doesn't matter anyways. This guy's costing them money, so, and they've had people cost them money before, but like he's on a whole new level. He is on a whole new level of costing the company money. But yeah. So the due date for this is on the end of March. So I would probably send it priority mail a week before the end of March, which is cutting it close, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, you want to get your best foot forward, and so that way they're more likely to accept than for you to just slapdash it and then be like, oh, I guess I didn't win that. And it's like, well, no, duh. Ironically, there will be some kind of action going in there though. But now that you mention it, it is pretty it is more like world drama consequences, a bit of suspense, but not drama like he said, she said kind of drama. Oh my goodness. I can't stand those kind of. I know, actually, I can stand them, especially if it's comical. But for the most part, it's like, I don't care. Like, I genuinely do. Unless it's going to make you lose your job or lose your apartment or something, I honestly don't care what anyone else said, something, whatever. She shed something. But there is that. Consequences of your behavior. I start my stories with a what if scenario. What if this was a setup? How would a certain person be able to deal with that? Hmm. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I like action, but I want it to have a reason for it to happen. You understand? It's like when I first watched the first Matrix, I liked it. The other Matrix, I was like, I don't see the point of this anymore. Which it was funny to watch though, because it's like early 2000s CG animation, and they for some reason the choreographer, whoever did the fight scene design direction, was like, this is straight up Dragon Ball Z, like straight up Dragon Ball Z. Like, they have the whole, when two fists collide, everything world shaking around them, and like and then the sheer force of their fists meeting, like balloons outwards and everything, and I just kind of start laughing. So I don't mean it to be funny, but it was funny. I think that, like, if it's unique, I would be like, oh, that's cool. And I'm able to suspend disbelief in that case because it explains why they're able to do this, you know? But things like, what's that other action movie? James Bond, what was it called? Skyfall? Oh my goodness. I'm not even going to go deeply into the rant. I'm just going to say 10 minutes in, I was so upset at everybody because they were so incompetent. It was ridiculous. Side question. No, it's not for Saturday AM. It's for a creators grant. I think they said they need like 5 pages, but I'm going to send 10 pages because, again, you got to show you're serious. Plus, typically it seems like most of the stuff is not anime oriented. So I am going to slightly change out my style a little bit in terms of the character faces, and show them 10 pages so that it might just be because it's hard for me to get like anything across in 5 pages. So I'm aiming for 8 to 10 pages. I'm just saying, if something like Saga can get in with its art, I think I can be okay. That goes another story. People are telling me to read. It's like, you should read Saga, and it's a space opera, and I just look at it and I'm like, I read four or five volumes, not issues, volumes, and I'm just kind of like, I honestly think people like this story because of the F-bombs and the fart jokes. Like, yeah, it's sci-fi, but it's the only thing about sci-fi about it is that it's in outer space, because one race of a main character literally does magic. You have ghosts, and I mean, I guess you could still have ghosts in sci-fi, it doesn't really matter. But like, and characters are dying in the weirdest of ways, or they die so quick that you just can't. I don't know. That was just not a comic for me. And people were like, it's so good. And I'm just looking at I'm like, what? I'm sorry. That's the only part I'm going to get salty about, because you are specifically talking about a comic that is space opera and it's selling really, really well. But I'm sorry. When you have a brothel called Sextillion and all the characters pose in Vogue. It's hard to explain what's in Vogue, but in Vogue is when you literally strike a pose, like you're about to take a photo on a magazine, and you just like strike a pose, strike a pose. And I just sit there and I can't take this comic. I didn't hate it though. I just started laughing about it, but I just can't take it seriously. Like I don't know. It was a giant. I just felt like I was watching a show that was F-bombs and a bunch of like fart jokes, which is fine if I want to watch something like Ed, Ed and Eddie, but not something called Saga with people having wars amongst themselves for generations, and then what is essentially the Romeo and Juliet of the series is just kind of like, nah. What was the series, that comic I haven't read? I haven't read all of it, but I would like to read more of it. Rocket Girl. That's a cool series. I like that series. I need to pick up more of that series. So you know how awkward that comic is. Like every other page, someone is striking a pose, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, what? People don't walk around like this, especially if they're coming from several different kind of species and races. They definitely ain't gonna all talk the same. I think the dialogue is what made me cringe the most, though. It was like everyone talks the same, and let's see. Like everyone talks the same, and they talk in that kind of, I feel like they kind of like talk like that person that would go to Hot Topic and then stop going to Hot Topic because too many people that he or she didn't like was going to Hot Topic. That's the best way I can describe how everyone was talking like I I don't know. I just kind of like, I can't relate to any of you people because I've never was that girl. I've never been around that girl. I've seen them. So if everyone is talking and acting like her, I don't get it. I'm going to change the design right here because I think I just saw something cooler. But I'm not even going to get started on the whole Image comics anyways, so. Oh, I think I'm slowly getting to a point where I can stop now. It's 9:27. I have to attempt to try to wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Keyword attempt. Second keyword try. And get this done. I really see why people use 3D models though, because I'm tempted to, I really think I should eventually learn how to do Google SketchUp. Oh. Let's see here. It's 9:30 p.m. for me. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. I'm on Eastern Standard Time in Florida. Oh, this is too far. Okay. I think, okay, all that's left is this guy, which I'm just gonna quickly do this side and okay. People. People. People are people. Let's see here. Hello, Cameron. Thank you, thank you. Did I mention I'm not really, like, I don't really draw mecha? This is probably the third mecha I've ever, third, maybe fourth mecha I've ever drawn, ever. I mean, like, ever. And the first two was straight up a copy of, like, Hummers or something. This person's too close. I think this was the original. Yep, that works. There you go. Cushion. Let's see. I'm thinking that this should probably be walled off about here. Alright. Alright. And then, I don't know. There's probably like information or something here. Probably information here. Probably some storage. We're gonna assume that's storage. I know in a lot of anime they just basically leave it into like this weird ambient shading room or whatever, but I don't do that stuff, so hey, you take your baby steps. Have I drawn a car? Maybe twice? At least with mechas, they're fake. With cars, all you need is one car lover being upset at you because you didn't draw the wheel rims correct. Or some junk. I think that's it. Yeah, dots, man. Just add dots to everything and it'll look mechanical. Dots and lines. There you go. See, these are the seam lines for when they're trying to put pieces of metal together and forming it, right? I think so. I'm guessing. I'm seriously guessing here. All right. I think that's all of it, yeah? Just the foot. Let me turn this layer off. Oh, no, I won't turn it off just yet. There you go. This looks like a workman's mecha, right? Let's turn this off. I think I'm proud of myself. I think I'm pretty proud of myself. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's not no. It's pretty all right. It's pretty. It's not. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I like it. And then this will be like the. Alright. Okay. I'm thoroughly happy right here. I'm thoroughly happy. I think I mean, once I start drawing the comic, I might change out things. Like, I might change things out. Who knows? Like, this little detail here makes no sense to me. I don't know what it is. So, we're gonna do this. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. There. Now that makes sense to me. Now I know where things overlap and lines, people. Just add lines and it'll just look good. There you go. You think I'm joking, but I'm just adding lines now. We're just adding them lines, people. And dots. Well, thanks for stopping by, Jennifer. Like, there's look up Scott Robertson. He actually has a couple of his YouTube, a couple of videos on YouTube, and then he has a couple of how to draw. He actually has a book called How to Draw. To be truth, I haven't gone through that book because I took one look at it and I'm like, it's too big of a book. So, yeah, so, I think I might actually have his stuff up here. Yeah, let me get him to here. There you go. This dude right here. This dude, this guy right here. It says Scott Robertson. This guy Go look him up. And then there's another one. What's his name? FZD. This guy right here. So he owns a school now. But this guy right here, he used to do the prequels to Star Wars. So he did like the designs there, and he actually opened a school in Singapore. Singapore. Yeah. So like he posts like half hour to like an hour or more of just like how to draw stuff. You know, how do you want to do a cyberpunk art? Like, yeah. So like it's free, so like go use them. You can't tell me that you don't know how. Well, you can't tell me that, but like there's plenty of reference online, so all right, I'm just gonna add like base shading to this so that way I know like the 3D planes and stuff like that. Oh no, there's another guy, Modern Day James, yeah, like go after him too. You need to go after the good stuff, okay? All right. I think it's this way. Yes, it is. And there should be like, I don't know, a serial number. H G hyphen T1. There you go. There you go. I just randomly came up with the serial number. Don't ask. I think that works. There you go. There you go. All right. Let's add some drop shading. Let's add some shading. And let me set this to multiply. Yeah. Don't you start with me. All right. Oh, this is way too dark. Too saturated. Too dark. There you go. The shading's really just so I know where what is what, where it's like located on the 3D plane, for lack of a better word. I'm kind of sounding professional, huh? So you put the dark shading where, you know, to give an object a sense of volume, a sense of weight. What do I do at my job? It's part of the reason why my fingers are breaking off. I am at a tablet all day painting flamingos. Now that sounds a little bit exaggerating, but nah. I make artwork illustration, or I modify artwork that they bought from somebody else, from a freelancer or whatever, or studio. and set it up for printing on home, like those, you know, those plastic plates with all the designs on it. That's what I do. Making designs for bath towels, beach towels, coolers, cups, a lot of cups. Um, I used to work at a company that did clothes, so I used to work for Macy's. So I did some of their clothes design, the artwork that goes printed on the fabric. They basically, like, my titles for the most part is like CAD surface designer or some junk. Uh, what else? I haven't worked in a men's design. I did do like boys like swimwear. Um, I would like to work on menswear some more, but you know, for like a cool line or something. Like I would like to do that, but you know, I digress. You can't have everything that you want. You can't have everything that you want. So pretty much I go to work on the tablet, come home, work on the tablet. It's not actually healthy. I do have a standing desk at home. I just got one. I loved it. I stand for quite a long while actually, so I'm proud of myself. I think that's all I'm gonna do for this guy. Let's see here. Yeah, because you can't see this guy. It's just the ignition, so I know where the little blue lights come out of or whatever. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, anything else and I'll start painting this thing out, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. You know, sometimes Manga Studio can get really confusing. Like, how do you set this to be multiply? How do you... I think that's it. Nope, that wasn't it, but oh well. We're just gonna accept it. We're just gonna accept this. There you go. I think I'm done. I think I am done. Do you guys think I'm done? I think I'm done, right? Yeah, we're done for this. Oh my gosh. I have like giant little things on my fingers now. The standing desks. They're like 200 or whatever, but I actually found this guy on the last chance of IKEA for $44. And I know like the configuration that I have is about $100. So I scored pretty great big. I didn't plan to do so. I went in there to get me a con banner, but instead it gave me that. So I was pretty happy about it. And then I got the matte thing for I think that's it. Yeah. Let me just put my logo on it so no one steal it. Don't you steal it, you guys. Don't screen cap. Don't do that. It's not good. Let's see here. So I'm assuming you guys pretty much enjoyed like the Mecha stuff. And Monday, I think Monday is better for me because Sundays I'm just way too lazy on Sundays. I'm out for a good 5-6 hours of the day, and then like Sunday morning I got other stuff to do. So I'm assuming Monday evening's not too bad for you guys. For some people. Manga Studio. Okay, fine. I'm gonna save this here. Why is it an unsupported format? Probably. Wouldn't be surprised. Paint's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you gotta go budget right here. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Thank you. Alright. There you go. But yeah, so let me know if you're into watching the Mecha for the next stream which will be next Monday, because I'm keeping it to Monday. I have a couple of videos that I need to upload anyways. Because then I'll just wait to work on the second Mecha design then, because I don't think I need to do. No, I do need to do 2 Mecha designs, but I could get started on other parts of the comic and stuff. And let me know if you guys have any questions for what you want me to be cognizant of in the tutorials that I'm going to make for, preparing a comic or when you're starting out your comic. Because I haven't done it long enough, but I still done it long enough that I may not be at the position that you're in, and it may not occur to me that that's what you want me to cover. So please let me know, okay? Hello there, beautiful. Thanks for passing by. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this, you guys. I really appreciate you all coming in and watching. Really appreciate your questions. So, I'll leave the second Mecha design for next Monday, which means I could actually look up more research, because I did not look up any research with this. That's why it took forever. And I'll go ahead and do that for next time and start working up for the next videos and start batching my 30 days in color videos and some updates. Tomorrow I should have the comic update for tomorrow. I should, because all I have is to plug and play the dialogue. But anyhow, yeah, folks, I am heading out, man. I am tired. I am busted. And I will see you guys in the next video.